next ratio is the activity ratio. As I was explaining to you in the very beginning of this session, for any business, including for us in our company, activity is of prime importance. And what is the meaning of activity? The meaning of activity is how to use our assets in the best possible way. So, more the turnover that we are able to generate from the assets that we have, remember, higher is going to be the gross margin. And by default, if the gross margin is high, assuming all other expenses are under control or increasing in the same ratio, then it will all automatically have a positive impact on earning per share as well. So that is your activity ratio. So activity ratio, just to sum it up once again, means what? It means how to generate more sales, how to generate more revenues in the business from the use of the same assets. How to generate more revenues in the business with the use of same assets. How do we calculate? Just one example that we have here. We calculate a ratio called credit collection in number of days. It is also known as DSO, days sales outstanding. So how do we calculate? We calculate accounts receivable. That means the money that I have to receive from my customers divided by sales into 365. So this is a ratio that tells me days of sales outstanding. I'm sure if I ask you this question as to whether for our business our DSO must be high or it must be low, I'm sure all of you would say that our DSO must be as low as possible. And why it should be as low as possible? Because lower is the number of DSO, that means lesser is my amount locked up with my customers as a receivable. So this is how we will calculate this ratio, which is known as collection ratio, or it is known as DSO, days sales outstanding. Now while I'm discussing this, I can also tell you this ratio can also be calculated. Another variation, you can calculate it as turnover ratio. Now how do you calculate the turnover ratio? That means sales divided by the total assets will give me my total assets turnover ratio. Sales divided by total assets, that will give me my sales, my assets turnover ratio, total assets turnover ratio. And I'm sure all of you would agree with me that this ratio must be as high as possible. So if there are two companies, company A and company B, and both the companies have identical assets, and both the companies have assets worth 100 million euros. Now company A is generating a turnover of 200 million euros. Company B is generating a turnover of 300 million euros. Both the companies have got the same amount of assets, 100 million euros. Obviously, company B is doing better because company B is able to generate the turnover which is 3 times of the assets, whereas company A is able to generate only the turnover which is 2 times of the assets. That means what? That means company B is able to use the assets more efficiently. And obviously, we all understand greater the efficiency in the use of the assets, better is going to be the profitability of that business. So that's your activity ratio, and which in the given example is also known as DSO, days sales outstanding. We can also calculate this ratio as inventories divided by cost of goods sold, right? Inventories divided by cost of goods sold. So you take the figure of inventories in the numerator and take the figure of cost of goods sold in the denominator, and then of course you multiply it with 365, and this will give you your inventories outstanding. So it will tell you, this ratio will tell you how many days of inventory you are carrying as a business. Need I mention, lesser the number, more efficient is the company. Because if the inventory carrying days are more for a company, that means this company is locking too much of its money into inventories. That, of course, is a bad sign. On the contrary, if another company is having this number low, that means this company is able to run its operations with lesser amount of capital locked up in the inventory. That, of course, is a good sign. So that is your inventory in number of days, and that is what you can calculate. And number
Sir,
three,
the inventory and DSO are calculated as on date, on a particular date, or it's a period basis.
very good, very good question, very good question. So it will always be as on a date, as on a day or as on a date. But the only thing is, that's a good point. The only thing is, for all the ratios, not only for the DSO or for the inventory in number of days, for all the ratios, remember, what is important is that whatever we do, we should do it consistently. So if you are using one formula, we should use the same formula. That is number one. Number two, you got a good point. Number two, so one way is, let's say for example, let's come back to this ratio. Number one is credit collection in number of days. If you want to calculate this ratio, one way of calculating this ratio is as that is, take the figure of accounts receivable, which is the figure on the closing day of the balance sheet, last day of the balance sheet. So that is one way of doing it. Take the figure of accounts receivable on the last date of the balance sheet, and take the figure of sales for the entire year, or 6 months, or 3 months, or 9 months, or 1 month, as the case may be. Another way of doing it is that instead of taking the figure of accounts receivable on the closing date, what you can do as a refinement, you can take the average accounts receivable. That means take the figure of opening accounts receivable plus the closing accounts receivable divided by 2, and take the average accounts receivable, and then divide the average accounts receivable by the amount of sales, and that will give you your average days sales outstanding. So this is a refinement which is possible for calculating the DSO. All of you, please pay attention. All these ratios are available in different permutations and combinations. So what we are discussing are basically the master keys. What we are discussing is basically master keys. Now with these master keys, you can open so many locks, so many locks. So depending on the situation, you can change. No, in this situation, I think I should not use the closing accounts receivable. It would be more appropriate for me to take the average accounts receivable. So if you want to do that, you can do that. The only thing is, if you are doing it, then do it for all the periods in the same way, right? Do it for all the periods in the same way. So that is how it is. I hope that answers your query. I
Yes, sir.
hope that answers your doubt.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good, very good. Right. And then, since we are talking about the operating working capital, and remember there are three components to operating working capital. The component number one is the receivables, component number two is inventory, and the component number three is payables. So we can also find out as to how many days of payables are outstanding at any given point in time. So how do we find out the payables outstanding, number of days of payables outstanding on any given point in time? And that is accounts payable divided by the cost of goods sold into 365, and this will give us the idea as to how many days of payables are outstanding. Right, so this is how you will calculate the activity ratio. Let's go to the final one, and that is leverage ratio. So before I come and discuss the leverage ratio, this is open to all of you. In case if you have any doubt, any question, please go ahead.
Sir, basically say if there are two companies
Mm-hmm.
and if you are comparing, so one company will try to minimize the inventory, will try to pay to their supplier as long as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So it is some sort of contrast, no, from company to company.
Okay.
In this business. So if it is my business, I want to collect my payment as early as possible. I want to pay my your suppliers as long as possible. So this
Yes.
is some sort of contrast always, no, to be efficient.
Very good. A very good point you have raised, and I really appreciate this point. Uh, yes, of course, and you are right, that there is a contrast. There is a contrast, but remember, there is a contrast if we are looking as a third person. There is a contrast if we are looking as a third person, but if we are looking it as a first person, then there is no contrast. If you are looking at it as a second person, then there is no contrast. And what do I mean by this?
That is true.
I'm responsible for my company. So if I am responsible for my company, then what I have to do? Then I have to ensure that my receivables are realized as quickly as possible.
Yes.
Okay, and my payables are I'm able to negotiate as longer a credit term as possible from my suppliers. So when I'm looking at as first person, there is no contrast, because I would like, as a first person, as the executive of the company, I would like all my receivables to come as soon as possible, and I would like all my payables to be paid as late as possible, of subject to, of course, the terms of the credit that I have agreed with my supplier. If I am looking from the perspective of supplier to my company, okay, if I am looking at from the perspective of supplier of mine, then obviously the supplier of mine would like that his payment from us should go to him as quickly as possible. So remember, uh, the contrast would be there only when you're looking at from the third person's point of view. If you're looking at from the perspective of the first person or the second person, then there is no contrast, rather than there is a total clarity. So as the executive of the company, I have to ensure, I have to work, I have to create a culture within the organization of quick realization of the receivables. Why? Because that is in my interest. Lesser the money that I lock in the inventories, lesser the money that I lock in the receivable, that means so much of my capital becomes free. And whatever capital becomes free, I can use that capital for expansion, diversification, modernization, debottlenecking, technology upgradation, and so on and so forth. I hope that that clears your doubt.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good. Very good. Any other question? Okay. So if there are no doubts, I think we can go to the next topic. And here we come to leverage ratio. Now, friends, as you remember, leverage ratio